The Galactic Discovery. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, humanity had finally taken its first steps into the galactic community. The year was 2157, and Earth's first interstellar expedition, led by the formidable Captain Elena Rodriguez, ventured beyond the solar system aboard the starship Horizon. Their mission: to explore, to learn, and to establish humanity's place among the stars. As the Horizon glided through the cosmic ballet of stars and nebulae, its sensors detected an anomaly in a nearby system. Curious and driven by their exploratory mandate, Captain Rodriguez ordered a course change. Little did she know that this decision would alter the fate of not just humanity, but of an entire species and the galactic balance of power. The Horizon entered a solar system bathed in the soft light of a red dwarf star. As they approached the third planet, the crew gasped in collective awe. Before them lay a world of breathtaking beauty. Swirling turquoise oceans, landmasses covered in iridescent vegetation, and gossamer clouds that shimmered with an otherworldly glow. "Life signs detected," announced the ship's science officer, Dr. Amit Patel, his voice tinged with excitement. But they're unusual, extremely faint and scattered. Captain Rodriguez leaned forward in her command chair, her dark eyes focused on the holographic display. "Unusual how, Doctor?" Dr. Patel's fingers danced across his console as he analyzed the data. The life forms appear to be sentient, but their biological signatures are incredibly weak. It's as if they're barely clinging to existence. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. They had discovered not just life, but potentially an alien civilization on the brink of extinction. "Prepare a landing party," Rodriguez ordered, her voice firm with resolve. "Full containment protocols. We don't know what we're dealing with." Hours later, Captain Rodriguez led a team onto the surface of the alien world. The air was thin but breathable, filled with a sweet, almost intoxicating scent. The ground beneath their feet seemed to pulse with a gentle rhythm, as if the entire planet was one living, breathing entity. As they crested a hill covered in shimmering, fern-like vegetation, they saw them for the first time: the Zephyrians. The aliens were unlike anything the humans had imagined. Standing no taller than a child, their bodies were slender and graceful, with skin that seemed to shift and shimmer like the surface of a soap bubble. Large, luminous eyes dominated their facial features, conveying a depth of emotion that transcended the barriers of species. But it was immediately clear that something was terribly wrong. The Zephyrians moved slowly, their movements labored and weak. Many lay on the ground, their shimmering skin dulled and faded. Dr. Patel scanned the nearest alien with his tricorder, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Captain," he said, his voice hushed with concern, "their cellular structure is incredibly fragile. It seems they're highly susceptible to environmental changes and radiation. This world, it's becoming inhospitable to them." A Zephyrian approached the landing party, its movements graceful despite its obvious weakness. It raised a slender hand in what appeared to be a gesture of greeting. To the human's astonishment, a soft glow emanated from the alien's palm, coalescing into a three-dimensional image that hovered in the air between them. The image showed the Zephyrian world as it once was, a vibrant paradise teeming with life. Then it changed, depicting stellar flares from their sun bathing the planet in deadly radiation, destroying the delicate balance that had allowed the Zephyrians to thrive. "They're dying," Captain Rodriguez whispered, her heart heavy with the weight of this cosmic tragedy. "Their own sun is killing them." The Zephyrian's large eyes met Rodriguez's, and in that moment, a connection was forged that transcended the vast differences between their species. Without words, the captain understood the alien's plea, a cry for help from one sentient being to another. Rodriguez tapped her communicator. "Horizon, this is the captain. Prepare for emergency evacuation procedures. We're bringing guests aboard." Her second-in-command's voice crackled through the device, tinged with surprise. "Guests, Captain. Are you sure that's wise?" Rodriguez looked at the Zephyrian before her, its fragile form a testament to the precariousness of life in the universe. "No," she replied, "but it's right. We can't leave them here to die. Prepare containment areas with radiation shielding. We're going to save as many as we can." As the evacuation began, news of the discovery spread like wildfire through the Horizon's crew. Excitement mingled with apprehension. They were making first contact, yes, but they were also attempting to save an entire species with technology and biology they barely understood. Over the next few days, the Horizon became a Noah's Ark of the stars. Hundreds of Zephyrians were brought aboard, each one placed in specially prepared quarters designed to mimic the safe areas of their dying world. The ship's scientists worked around the clock, studying the aliens' biology and trying to understand the intricacies of their unique physiology. What they discovered was both fascinating and heartbreaking. The Zephyrians were a species of incredible potential, possessing latent abilities that hinted at untold possibilities. But they were also incredibly vulnerable, their entire evolutionary path having been shaped by the once gentle embrace of their homeworld. As the Horizon prepared to leave the Zephyrian system, Captain Rodriguez stood in the observation deck, watching as the doomed planet slowly receded from view. Dr. Patel joined her, his usual energetic demeanor subdued by the weight of recent events. "What do we do now, Captain?" he asked softly. Rodriguez's gaze remained fixed on the shrinking world outside. "We take them home. Amit. We show them the best of what humanity has to offer. And maybe, just maybe, we can help them not just survive, but thrive." As if in response to her words, a group of Zephyrians entered the observation deck, their movements still weak, but with a new spark of hope in their luminous eyes. They gathered around the humans, their shimmering skin reflecting the starlight, creating a dazzling display of color and light. One of the aliens stepped forward, raising its hand as it had done on the planet's surface. But this time, the image that formed was not of their past, but of a possible future. Zephyrians and humans standing together among the stars. Captain Rodriguez smiled, feeling the first stirrings of hope. This was more than a rescue mission now. It was the beginning of a partnership that could reshape the galaxy. As the Horizon engaged its faster-than-light drive, leaving the red dwarf system behind, Elena Rodriguez made a silent vow. The Zephyrians would not only survive. Under humanity's protection and guidance, they would flourish. Little did she know that this decision would set in motion a chain of events that would challenge the very foundations of galactic society and prove that even the most unlikely allies could become a force to be reckoned with. The journey back to Earth had begun, and with it, a new chapter in the story of two species bound together by chance, compassion, and the endless possibilities of the cosmos. The adoption. The return of the Horizon to Earth was met with a mixture of awe, excitement, and trepidation. As news of the Zephyrians spread, humanity found itself facing a monumental decision. The fate of an entire alien species now rested in their hands. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, newly promoted to admiral following her historic first contact, stood before the United Earth Council, the governing body that represented all of humanity in this new age of space exploration. The chamber was filled to capacity, with delegates from every nation and representatives from the scientific community hanging on her every word. Distinguished members of the council, Elena began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "We stand at a crossroads. The Zephyrians are a species on the brink of extinction. Their world is dying, and they lack the means to save themselves. We have the power to help them, to offer them a new home and a chance at survival." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. A delegate from the African Union stood, his expression grave. "Admiral Rodriguez, while your compassion is admirable, have you considered the risks? We know nothing of these aliens. They could carry diseases, possess hidden dangers. Is it wise to bring them to Earth?" Elena had anticipated this concern. "We've conducted extensive studies during our journey home. The Zephyrians pose no biological threat to Earth or its inhabitants. In fact, they're far more vulnerable to our environment than we are to anything they might carry. And what of the economic impact? A representative from the East Asian Economic Zone interjected. Supporting an entire alien species would be an enormous drain on our resources. Dr. Amit Patel, who had been instrumental in studying the Zephyrians during their voyage, stepped forward. If I may, council members, the Zephyrians possess unique abilities that, if nurtured, could provide immense benefits to humanity. Their neural structure allows for a form of bioluminescent communication that could revolutionize our data transmission technologies. Their ability to photosynthesize could lead to breakthroughs in sustainable energy. The potential for scientific advancement is staggering. The chamber buzzed with excited whispers. Belina seized the moment. Moreover, by extending our help to the Zephyrians, we show the galaxy that humanity is a force for good. We prove that compassion and cooperation can exist even between species separated by light years. As the debate raged on, news of the Zephyrians spread across the globe. People everywhere were captivated by images of the ethereal aliens, their shimmering skin and expressive eyes sparking a sense of wonder in the human population. Polls showed overwhelming public support for helping the Zephyrians, with many citing a moral obligation to aid a species in need. After days of deliberation, the United Earth Council reached a decision. Humanity would not only offer sanctuary to the Zephyrians, but would actively work to help them adapt and thrive in their new home. The project was dubbed Operation Stardust, a nod to the Zephyrians' shimmering appearance. The first challenge was finding a suitable habitat for the aliens. Their sensitivity to radiation and specific atmospheric requirements made most of Earth inhospitable to them. But in the lush rainforests of Brazil, scientists discovered an area where the natural radiation shielding and atmospheric composition closely matched the Zephyrians' needs. A massive undertaking began. A state-of-the-art facility was constructed deep in the heart of the Amazon, designed to house and protect the Zephyrians while allowing them to experience a natural environment. The complex was a marvel of engineering, featuring adaptive radiation shielding, customized atmospheric regulators, and expansive biodomes that recreated the Zephyrians' native ecosystem. As the Zephyrians settled into their new home, named Nova Zephyria, humans from all walks of life volunteered to assist in the project. Scientists, doctors, engineers, and cultural experts worked alongside the aliens, learning their language and customs while helping them adjust to life on Earth. The Zephyrians, for their part, showed an incredible eagerness to learn and adapt. Their ability to communicate through bioluminescence proved invaluable, allowing for a form of emotional and conceptual exchange that transcended the barriers of traditional language. Human scientists were astounded by the depth and nuance of Zephyrian communication, which conveyed not just words but entire sensory experiences. But not everyone was thrilled with Earth's new residents. A vocal minority, driven by fear and xenophobia, protested against the presence of aliens on their planet. They argued that resources should be spent on solving human problems rather than supporting an alien species. Elena Rodriguez, now serving as the chief liaison between humans and Zephyrians, found herself at the center of this controversy. She worked tirelessly to educate the public about the Zephyrians and the mutual benefits of their presence on Earth. The Zephyrians are not a burden, she explained in a global broadcast. They are a gift. Their unique perspective and abilities offer us a chance to see the universe in a new light. By helping them, we help ourselves grow as a species. As months passed, the benefits of the human-Zephyrian partnership became increasingly evident. Zephyrian bioluminescent communication techniques led to the development of new ultra-efficient data transmission technologies. Their natural ability to photosynthesize inspired advances in solar energy capture and storage. The medical community was abuzz with the potential applications of Zephyrian cellular regeneration capabilities. But perhaps the most profound impact was cultural. The presence of the Zephyrians sparked a global renaissance in art, music, and philosophy. Human artists collaborated with Zephyrians to create stunning visual and auditory experiences that blended the best of both species' creative traditions. Philosophers grappled with new concepts of consciousness and existence, inspired by the Zephyrians' unique perception of reality. As Nova Zephyria flourished, it became a symbol of hope and cooperation. Tourists flocked to the edges of the complex, eager for a glimpse of the ethereal aliens and the lush paradise they now called home. Schools around the world incorporated lessons about Zephyrian culture and biology, fostering a new generation of humans who saw the aliens not as strange outsiders, but as fellow sentient beings worthy of respect and friendship. Yet, even as Earth celebrated this new era of interspecies cooperation, rumblings from the stars suggested that not everyone in the galaxy viewed the human-Zephyrian partnership favorably. Reports began to trickle in from Earth's fledgling colonies and deep space outposts of increased activity from other alien civilizations. Some seemed curious, others wary, and a few outright hostile. Elena Rodriguez, reviewing these reports in her office overlooking the verdant expanse of Nova Zephyria, couldn't shake the feeling that humanity's compassionate act had set in motion events that would reshape the galaxy in ways they couldn't yet imagine. As she watched a group of Zephyrians and humans working together in one of the biodomes, their forms silhouetted against the setting sun, she realized that this was only the beginning. The adoption of the Zephyrians had changed humanity, awakening a sense of responsibility and possibility that extended far beyond the boundaries of their own world. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Elena was confident that together, humans and Zephyrians would face them with courage, ingenuity, and the unshakable bond forged in the face of extinction. As night fell over Nova Zephyria, the bioluminescent glow of the aliens mixed with the artificial lights of human technology, creating a dazzling display that symbolized the bright future these two species would build together. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, as if in approval of this unlikely alliance that dared to dream of a more compassionate universe. The transformation. 5 years had passed since the Zephyrians found sanctuary on Earth, and the partnership between the two species had flourished beyond anyone's wildest expectations. Nova Zephyria had grown from a simple refugee camp into a thriving metropolis, seamlessly blending advanced human technology with the organic, bioluminescent architecture of the Zephyrians. But it was not just their home that had changed. The Zephyrians themselves were undergoing a remarkable transformation. Dr. Amit Patel stood in his lab, surrounded by holographic displays showing the latest data on Zephyrian physiology. His eyes widened as he processed the information before him. "This is incredible," he muttered, his voice a mix of awe and disbelief. Admiral Elena Rodriguez, who had been overseeing the Zephyrian integration project, entered the lab. "What have you found, Amit?" she asked, noting the excitement in her old friend's demeanor. Amit turned to her, his face lit up with enthusiasm. "Elena, you won't believe this. The Zephyrians, they're evolving. And at a rate that defies everything we know about evolutionary biology." He gestured to the holographic displays, which showed detailed scans of Zephyrian cellular structures. "Their adaptive capabilities are off." Amit gestured to the holographic displays, which showed detailed scans of Zephyrian cellular structures. "Their adaptive capabilities are off the charts. It's as if their entire genetic structure is rewriting itself to thrive in Earth's environment." Elena leaned in, studying the images with intense curiosity. "What exactly are we seeing here?" "Look at this," Amit said, zooming in on a cellular model. "Their cells are developing new organelles that seem to function as miniature radiation shields. And here, he swiped to another image. Their neural pathways are becoming more complex, enhancing their already impressive bioluminescent communication abilities." Elena's mind raced with the implications. Are these changes uniform across the population? Amit shook his head. "That's the most fascinating part. The changes vary depending on the individual's environment and experiences. Zephyrians working closely with our scientists are developing increased cognitive abilities. Those in engineering projects are showing enhanced strength and dexterity. It's as if they're adapting not just to Earth, but to the specific roles they're taking on in our society." As they discussed the findings, A gentle glow filled the room. Zyra, one of the Zephyrian elders, had entered the lab. Her luminous skin pulsed with patterns of light that conveyed a complex mix of emotions: curiosity, excitement, and a touch of apprehension. "We have felt the changes," Zyra communicated, her bioluminescence translated by the lab's advanced systems. "Our people are becoming more, but we do not fully understand why." Elena approached Zyra, her expression soft with reassurance. "We'll figure this out together. Whatever is happening, we're here to support you." Over the next few months, the changes in the Zephyrian population became impossible to ignore. Their once fragile bodies grew stronger, more resilient. Their cognitive abilities expanded exponentially, with many Zephyrians now able to grasp complex scientific and philosophical concepts that had once been beyond their comprehension. But perhaps the most startling development was the emergence of what could only be described as psychic abilities. Some Zephyrians demonstrated the capacity for telepathic communication, not just among themselves but with humans as well. Others showed signs of telekinesis, able to manipulate objects with their minds. Others, however, reacted with fear. The idea of potentially psychic aliens living among them sparked panic in some quarters. Anti-Zephyrian sentiment, which had been simmering beneath the surface, began to boil over in some parts of the world. In response to the growing tension, Elena Rodriguez called for a global summit to address the Zephyrian evolution and its implications for human-alien relations. Leaders from around the world gathered in Nova Zephyria, the shimmering spires of the alien city providing a dramatic backdrop to the historic meeting. As the summit convened, Elena took the stage, flanked by Amit Patel and Zyra. The audience was a sea of faces, human and Zephyrian alike, all waiting with bated breath. "Distinguished guests," Elena began, her voice steady and clear. "We stand at a pivotal moment in the history of not just our world, but of interspecies relations. The Zephyrians, whom we welcome to Earth in their time of need, are undergoing a remarkable transformation. This evolution presents us with unprecedented opportunities and, yes, challenges." She gestured to Zyra, who stepped forward, her skin shimmering with complex patterns of light. "We do not fully understand the changes happening to our people," Zyra communicated, her thoughts translated for all to hear. "But we know this: our evolution is intrinsically linked to our relationship with humanity. You have given us more than a home. You have given us a future." Amit then presented the scientific findings, explaining the nature of the Zephyrian changes and their potential implications. He emphasized the symbiotic nature of the evolution, how the Zephyrians were adapting not to dominate, but to better integrate and contribute to Earth's ecosystem and society. As the summit progressed, it became clear that the Zephyrian transformation was not just a scientific curiosity or a potential threat. It was an opportunity for humanity to evolve as well. The Zephyrians' enhanced abilities in various fields were already contributing to significant advancements in technology, medicine, and environmental science. One of the most groundbreaking developments came in the field of space exploration. A team of Zephyrian engineers, their bodies now adapted to withstand higher levels of radiation and their minds capable of complex calculations, proposed a revolutionary design for a new type of spacecraft. This vessel would use a combination of advanced human technology and Zephyrian bioengineered components, capable of faster-than-light travel that had previously been thought impossible. The proposal sent shockwaves through the scientific community. If successful, this new spacecraft would open up the galaxy to human exploration in ways they had only dreamed of before. As the summit drew to a close, a new accord was reached. The global community agreed to continue supporting the Zephyrian integration and to work together to harness the potential of their evolution for the benefit of both species. Safeguards were put in place to address concerns about psychic abilities, with strict ethical guidelines established for their use and study. In the months that followed, the partnership between humans and Zephyrians deepened. Research teams composed of both species made breakthrough after breakthrough in various fields. The first prototype of the Zephyrian human hybrid spacecraft began construction in orbit, a shining symbol of what could be achieved through cooperation. But even as Earth celebrated these advancements, the rumblings from deep space grew louder. Other alien civilizations had taken notice of the rapidly evolving situation on Earth. Some were intrigued, eager to establish diplomatic relations with this unique human-Zephyrian alliance. Others viewed the development with suspicion and fear. As Elena Rodriguez stood on the observation deck of the newly completed orbital station, watching the prototype spacecraft take shape against the backdrop of Earth, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the cusp of something momentous. The Zephyrians had transformed from a dying species into something extraordinary, and in the process, they had transformed humanity's place in the galaxy. "We're ready," Zyra said, appearing silently beside Elena. The Zephyrian elder's form had changed dramatically over the years, her once fragile body now radiating strength and an almost otherworldly grace. Elena nodded, her gaze still fixed on the spacecraft. Ready for what? Zyra's skin shimmered with patterns that conveyed a complex mix of determination and hope. Ready to face whatever comes next. Together. As if in response to her words, an alert chimed softly. A long-range sensor had detected an incoming ship of unknown origin, approaching Earth at incredible speed. The next chapter of their journey was about to begin, and it promised to challenge the human-Zephyrian alliance in ways they could never have imagined. The uprising. The alert klaxons blared throughout the orbital station, their urgent wail a stark contrast to the serene view of Earth below. Admiral Elena Rodriguez raced to the command center, her heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and dread. The unknown ship they had detected was now at the edge of the solar system, its trajectory leaving no doubt about its destination, Earth. As Elena burst into the command center, she was greeted by a flurry of activity. Human and Zephyrian operators worked in perfect synchronization, their movements a testament to years of cooperation and mutual understanding. "Status report," Elena barked, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. Dr. Amit Patel, now the chief of xenobiology and interspecies relations, turned to face her. "The ship entered the solar system 10 minutes ago. It's like nothing we've ever seen before, Elena. The energy readings are off the charts." On the screen, a magnified image of the approaching vessel appeared. It was massive, easily dwarfing any ship in Earth's fleet. Its design was alien and intimidating. All sharp angles and ominous protrusions that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "Any response to our hails?" Elena asked, her voice tense. A communications officer shook her head. "Nothing, Admiral. They're maintaining radio silence." Suddenly, Zyra, who had been standing quietly in the corner, stepped forward. Her luminous skin pulsed with rapid patterns of light, conveying a sense of urgency that transcended language. I can sense them," she said, her voice a mixture of awe and fear. "Their minds. They're angry, fearful. They see us as a threat." Elena's brow furrowed. "Us, humans, and Zephyrians together." Zyra nodded solemnly. "Our union, our evolution. It frightens them. They've come to end it." The implications of Zyra's words hung heavy in the air. The unknown aliens weren't here for peaceful first contact. They were here to eliminate what they perceived as a threat to the galactic status quo. Elena's mind raced. Earth's defenses, while considerably advanced thanks to Zephyrian technology, were not prepared for a threat of this magnitude. She turned to her second-in-command, Commander Jackson. "Sound the global alert. I want every ship we have in the air and every weapon system online." As the command center erupted into action, Elena felt a gentle touch on her arm. It was Amit, his eyes filled with concern. "Elena, even with everything we've built, we're not ready for this. Not alone." She nodded grimly. "I know, but we're not alone, are we?" Together, they turned to Zyra. The Zephyrian elder stood tall, her form radiating a strength and determination that seemed to fill the room. Our fates are intertwined now, Zyra said, her bioluminescence pulsing with resolve. We stand with Earth. Within hours, the alien ship had entered Earth's orbit. Its size was even more staggering up close, casting a shadow over entire continents as it loomed above the planet. Smaller craft began to deploy from the massive vessel, descending toward major cities across the globe. The battle for Earth had begun. The initial assault was devastating. The alien weapons were beyond anything humanity had encountered, capable of leveling entire city blocks with a single shot. Earth's military forces fought back valiantly, but they were outgunned and outmaneuvered at every turn. But then, something unexpected happened. As the aliens pushed their advantage, the Zephyrians rose to meet them. No longer the fragile beings they once were, the Zephyrians now demonstrated powers that defied explanation. In New York, a group of Zephyrians formed a telepathic network, coordinating the movements of human fighters with unprecedented precision. In Tokyo, a Zephyrian engineer emerged with a damaged mech suit, her bioluminescent body interfacing directly with the machine to create a formidable fighting unit. Across the globe, similar scenes played out. Humans and Zephyrians fought side by side, their unique abilities complementing each other in ways the invading aliens had never anticipated. The Zephyrians' psychic abilities allowed them to predict enemy movements, while their enhanced physical capabilities made them formidable in direct combat. Alina watched from the orbital command center, coordinating the global defense effort. She marveled at the seamless integration of human and Zephyrian forces. This was more than just military cooperation. It was two species fighting as one, each compensating for the other's weaknesses. But the aliens were relentless. For every small victory Earth's defenders achieved, the invaders seemed to have a counter. The battle raged on, with casualties mounting on both sides. As the conflict entered its second day, Alina received a transmission from Nova Zephyria. It was Zyra, her usually serene features etched with determination. "Admiral," she said, her voice tinged with urgency, "we've made a discovery, a way to turn the tide." Alina leaned in, hope kindling in her chest. "What is it?" Zyra's skin pulsed with complex patterns as she explained. The Zephyrians had found a way to amplify their psychic abilities on a massive scale. By linking their minds in a vast network, they believed they could create a psychic pulse powerful enough to disable the alien ships. "But there's a cost," Zyra continued, her luminescence dimming slightly. "The strain, it could be fatal to many of us." Alina felt her heart sink. After everything the Zephyrians had been through, after all they had become, to risk losing them now. But she knew the stakes. If Earth fell, both species would be doomed. "Are you sure about this?" Alina asked, her voice heavy with the weight of the decision before them. Zyra's response was immediate, her skin glowing with unwavering resolve. "We are. This is our home now, too. We will defend it." With a heavy heart, Alina gave the go-ahead. Across the globe, Zephyrians began to gather in key locations, forming vast psychic networks. Humans worked alongside them, providing protection and technical support. As the alien mothership moved into position for what seemed to be a final devastating attack, the Zephyrians made their move, a pulse of energy, invisible to the naked eye, but felt by every living being on the planet, emanated from the Zephyrian networks. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The alien ships faltered, their weapons going silent and their engines sputtering. Many of the smaller craft plummeted from the sky, while the massive mothership listed in orbit, clearly struggling to maintain its systems. Earth's forces seized the opportunity, launching a coordinated counterattack. Human fighters, their systems enhanced by Zephyrian technology, swarmed the disabled alien ships. On the ground, combined human Zephyrian strike teams boarded the downed craft, securing vital intelligence and technology. As the dust settled, it became clear that the tide had turned. The alien invasion had been repelled, but at a great cost. Many Zephyrians had sacrificed themselves in the psychic assault, their bodies unable to withstand the immense strain. In the aftermath of the battle, as the people of Earth began the process of rebuilding, a new sentiment swept across the globe. The Zephyrians, once seen as refugees and then as curious allies, were now hailed as heroes. Their sacrifice had saved humanity, and in doing so, they had cemented their place as true partners in Earth's future. As Elena stood in the ruins of what had once been the United Nations headquarters in New York, surveying the damage and the beginnings of reconstruction, she felt a presence beside her. It was Zura, looking weary but resolute. "We did it," Elena said softly, her voice filled with a mixture of relief and sorrow. Zyra's skin shimmered with a gentle, comforting light. "We did. Together." As they watched humans and Zephyrians working side by side to clear rubble and treat the wounded, Elena realized that this was more than just the aftermath of a battle. It was the dawn of a new era. Humanity and the Zephyrians had faced their greatest challenge and emerged stronger, more united than ever before. But as the first reports of the captured alien technology began to come in, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The galaxy had taken notice of Earth and its unlikely allies. What challenges would they face next? And how would this new, united Earth-Zephyrian civilization reshape the cosmic order? As if reading her thoughts, Zyra placed a hand on Elena's shoulder. "Whatever comes next," the Zephyrian said, her bioluminescence pulsing with determination, "we'll face it together." Elena nodded, her gaze turning to the sky. The future was uncertain, but for the first time, she felt truly ready to meet it. Humanity was no longer alone in the cosmos. They had found not just allies, but true partners in the vastness of space. The next chapter of their cosmic journey was about to begin. The new era. A decade had passed since the invasion, as it came to be known. Earth, once a relatively isolated planet at the edge of the galaxy, had become a beacon of interspecies cooperation and technological advancement. The skylines of major cities now featured a harmonious blend of human architecture and Zephyrian bioluminescent structures, a visual testament to the deep integration of the two species. Admiral Elena Rodriguez, now serving as the Secretary General of the newly formed Earth-Zephyria Alliance, stood at the observation deck of Harmony Station, a massive orbital facility that served as the headquarters for humanity's burgeoning space fleet. Beside her stood Zyra, the Zephyrian elder who had become not just an ally, but a dear friend over the years. "It's hard to believe how far we've come," Elena mused, her gaze fixed on the blue-green orb of Earth below. The planet's orbit was now dotted with satellites, space stations, and shipyards, a stark contrast to the relatively empty space of a decade ago. Zyra's skin shimmered with patterns of agreement and nostalgia. Indeed, from the brink of extinction to defenders of a world, our people's journey has been extraordinary. Their reflection was interrupted by the arrival of Dr. Amit Patel, now the head of the Alliance's Science and Exploration Division. His face was alight with excitement as he approached. "Elena, Zyra, you need to see this," he said, activating a holographic display. A star map appeared, showing a vast swath of the Milky Way. "We've just received this from the Pathfinder." The Pathfinder was the first of a new class of deep space exploration vessels, combining the best of human and Zephyrian technology. It had been sent to the far reaches of known space, pushing the boundaries of exploration further than ever before. "What are we looking at, Amit?" Elena asked, leaning in to study the map. Amit's fingers danced over the controls, zooming in on a particular sector. "This region here, it's teeming with life. Not just habitable planets, but signs of advanced civilizations. Dozens of them." Zyra's luminescence pulsed with intense curiosity. "Have they detected the Pathfinder?" Amit shook his head. "Not yet, but that's not all." He manipulated the display again, bringing up a series of energy readings. "We're detecting traces of technology similar to that used by our invaders a decade ago. It seems they weren't an isolated case." The implications hung heavy in the air. The galaxy was far more populated, and potentially far more dangerous than they had realized. Alina's mind raced with the possibilities and challenges this discovery presented. We need to convene the Alliance Council immediately. This changes everything. Within hours, the leaders of the Earth-Zephyria Alliance had gathered in Harmony Station's Grand Council chamber. The room was a marvel of human and Zephyrian design, with advanced holographic systems complemented by bioluminescent data displays. As Alina presented the Pathfinder's findings, a mix of excitement and apprehension filled the room. The discovery of so many advanced civilizations opened up incredible opportunities for trade, cultural exchange, and scientific advancement, but it also presented significant risks. We must approach this situation with caution, warned the human representative from the European Union. We've seen firsthand the devastation an advanced hostile species can bring. Zara, representing the Zephyrian Council, pulsed with agreement. Yet we cannot let fear dictate our actions. Our strength lies in our unity and our willingness to extend friendship. The debate raged on, with arguments for isolation competing with calls for bold exploration. In the end, it was a young Zephyrian scientist, her skin shimmering with passionate conviction, who turned the tide. "We stand at a crossroads," she said, her words translated for all to hear. "We can choose to hide, to fortify ourselves against perceived threats, or we can choose to reach out, to seek understanding and build bridges. Isn't that what brought humans and Zephyrians together in the first place? The courage to extend a hand in friendship, even in the face of the unknown." Her words resonated deeply with both humans and Zephyrians. It was a poignant reminder of the unlikely partnership that had not only saved both species, but had propelled them to new heights. After much deliberation, the Alliance Council reached a decision. They would embark on a mission of diplomatic outreach to the newly discovered civilizations. A fleet of ships, crewed by both humans and Zephyrians, would be dispatched to make peaceful first contact. As the council adjourned, Alina found herself back on the observation deck, joined once again by Zyra and Emmett. "So, we're really doing this," Emmett said, a mix of nervousness and excitement in his voice. "Introducing ourselves to the galaxy at large." Alina nodded, her expression resolute. "It's a risk, but it's who we are now. Explorers, diplomats, partners in the truest sense." Zyra's skin glowed with warm approval. "From two species struggling to understand each other, we've become a force capable of bridging gaps across the cosmos. It's beautiful." As they spoke, activity in the shipyards below increased. The first of the diplomatic fleet was taking shape, sleek vessels that combined the best of human and Zephyrian design. They were ships of peace, but also of strength, capable of defending themselves if necessary. "There will be challenges ahead," Alina mused, watching the construction. "Not every species out there will welcome us with open arms. Some may fear us, others may seek to exploit us." Emmett nodded soberly. "The technology we salvaged from the invaders' ships suggests there are forces out there far more advanced than we are." "Perhaps," Zyra interjected, her luminescence pulsing with quiet confidence, "but they don't have what we have. The diversity of human ingenuity combined with Zephyrian adaptability. Our strength isn't just in our technology, but in our unity." As if to emphasize her point, a group of human and Zephyrian children ran past the observation deck, laughing and playing. It was a common sight now. The next generation growing up in a world where the boundaries between the two species were increasingly blurred. Alina smiled, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. "You're right, Zyra. Whatever the galaxy throws at us, we'll face it together. Not just as allies, but as a true union of two species." As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the earth below, the three friends stood in comfortable silence. The future was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril. But they faced it not with fear, but with hope and determination. The story of humanity and the Zephyrians was far from over. In fact, it felt like it was just beginning. As the first diplomatic ships prepared for their maiden voyages, carrying the message of friendship and cooperation to the stars, a new chapter in galactic history was about to be written. And at its heart would be the unlikely partnership between a species that had nearly expired and the humans who had given them not just a home, but a future. Together, they were ready to show the galaxy what could be achieved when compassion, courage, and cooperation triumphed over fear and isolation. The new era had dawned, and Earth Cytheria was ready to take its place among the stars.